Hello my dears, it's Miss Ward. Okay, so let's get ready to draw our bear with the fur and a sweater. And so what I need for you to do first is, with your Sharpie, I want you to find the center of your paper. Okay, so if this is the center of my paper, I want you to lay 2 fingers down, and I want you to put a dot on one side and a dot on the other side of your 2 fingers, okay? And then this is going to be the width of the nose of your bear. So for the nose, you can do a heart, you can do a bean shape, an oval, a triangle that's got kind of rounded edges pointing down. Totally up to you what kind of nose you draw, but what you'll want to do is make sure that your nose is the width of those 2 dots that you just made by measuring out your fingers, okay? So let's say that I kind of like the heart-shaped nose, and it's not like a super tall skinny heart, it's kind of a wider heart like this. But however you want to do your bear's nose is fine. Okay, and I like a highlight in my nose, like a little glare spot, like the light is on it. So I'm just going to draw kind of like a little oval in there, and then when I color this in, I'm going to leave that oval white. We'll do kind of the same thing when we do the eyes. So take your Sharpie and go ahead and color in your nose. We're going to do a few lines for like the little line that goes under the nose and turns into the mouth. Okay, so as soon as you get done with your nose and you have filled it in, then we're going to work on those lines. Okay, even if you're not done coloring, go ahead and look back up at the video so you can see what's next, and you can finish filling in the nose in just a moment. So from the bottom of your nose, draw a little line. Okay, and then from that line, just draw your little curves to indicate the mouth. Okay. We are going to put a shape around the nose and mouth area. It can be like a circle. It can be more of an oval. It can be really irregular, and I'm going to do it irregular. And what I mean by that is it's not really an oval, and it's not really a circle. Kind of goes around and it widens, but then it narrows back up near the top. Okay, so put a shape. Simple shape, kind of keep it close around your nose and mouth. I'm going to get these papers out of the way. Okay, the next thing I need for you to do is right here in these 2 spots, right where my fingers are, you are going to do eyes. And I'm just going to do really simple circles for the eyes. Don't draw them too tiny. Okay, one there. Try to make sure they're even and about the same size. If one's a little bigger, that's okay. This one's a little bigger, and actually I'm gonna make it just a tinge bigger on this side because we're gonna fill it in anyway, so I'll be coloring over that little mistake. Okay, so I'm gonna give my bear's eyes another glare, or like a light spot hitting it. So I'm just drawing a little circle on the inside. All the Art for Kids Hub videos also draw like another little circle, kind of diagonal from that first one. If you want to do that, that's fine. I'm not going to, but you're welcome to add another little glare. After you do that, go ahead and fill in the rest of the eyes black. Okay, but you leave that little bitty circle white. And again, if I'm going a little quick for you and you don't get finished filling in the eyes. You can always come back when we're done with this video and finish filling in, since you know what to do to fill in. Okay, that's a pretty cute face. All right, remember that your bear is going to be wearing a sweater. So before we do the head outline, we're going to do the sweater. So even if you're not done with the eyes, go ahead and stop coloring and look up at the video so that you can see this next part. This is really important. We don't want your bear's body to look really small compared to the head. So when you do the curve for the neckline of the sweater, I need for you to really look up here and watch, okay? You are going to do a curve. Watch me first, don't do it yet. You're going to do a curve, and I need for it to start kind of, if this is the bottom corner, kind of come up diagonally just a little bit. I'm just going to make a little dot right there so you can see. Same thing if you start from the bottom corner and come up diagonally. I'm going to put a little dot just so you can see where I'm about to do this, okay? So I'm going to put a slight curve from dot to dot, okay? So this is going to be the neck of my bear's sweater. Kind of looks like a smile underneath this portion. Kind of looks weird, but we're going to fix that, and it's going to look like a sweater in just a second. Okay, from that curve, make a line up, just a little one. Don't get crazy and go really tall, okay? Just 2 little vertical lines, one here and one here. And then we're going to do another curve. And this is the neck of the sweater. So it looks like sweaters have a band. A lot of sweaters do around the neck where it's knitted differently than like the rest of the sweater. So this is like the neck, okay? Now, from this corner where we did our dots, curve to the bottom edge, curve to the bottom edge, and there's our sweater, okay? Now we've got a cute little floaty face, but no outline of a head, so let's do that. Okay, I want my bear's head to end, like before we do the ears, I want it to stop about right here. So kind of up diagonal from the eye, I'm going to put a dot, and up just a little bit diagonally from the eye, I'm going to put a dot. So here are my 2 dots. Okay, from that dot, I'm going to do a curve and connect to my sweater, okay? So watch me first before you do this. So I'm drawing a line that curves just a little, it's not a huge curve, and touches the sweater. And a line that curves, this curve is going to go this way, okay? So it curves just a little and comes to the sweater. Okay. So now we need ears and the top of the head. Okay, your bear's face is nice and big. Please do not give your bear teeny tiny ears, okay? The ears, you know, think of them as like circular kind of. If you feel like you need to take your finger and kind of trace with your finger so you can kind of visually see how big that ear is going to be. And I'm not going to do like an actual circle for the ear, but just to kind of show you. It needs to be kind of on the big side, okay? I know that symmetry is really hard, and symmetry just means you're trying to get the same shape on the other side. So if one ear is a little bigger or smaller, that's not a big deal, because we're drawing with a Sharpie. You can't go back and erase, so be really careful, okay? So notice I left that gap. I don't have the head. I just went ahead and did my other ear. And now all you have to do is to connect, and I'm just going to do a slightly curving, not like straight line, but just a slight curve to connect. Okay, I'm going to add the inside shape to the ear, and all I'm doing is kind of copying the shape, and I just did a little line and a little line. I'm just going to do a curve and a curve. Okay, at this point, go ahead at the bottom of your paper and write your name. By the way, I'm sorry I didn't tell you. I hope you drew with your paper tall. I'll go back and put a note in at the beginning. Okay, so, all right, so we've got our bear. We've got the sweater, you've got your name down here. Now what we're going to do is work on the texture, okay? And remember, texture is the way that something feels. And so bears have fur, and a real bear would feel very different than, like, say, a teddy bear. A real bear's fur is kind of coarse. That means it's a little rough, because bear's fur have to be kind of like waterproof because they go in the water to get fish and that kind of stuff. So their fur is coarse, which means rough. Like if you have a teddy bear at home, I'm sure it probably feels really soft. So it's a little bit of a different texture. So what we're going to do, let me just show you my practice drawing just to show you. Your bear is going to have a whole bunch, and I mean a whole bunch of lines. And the lines are supposed to be our fur. Now, this is not real fur, and when we touch it, it doesn't feel like fur. So remember, that is called implied texture. That means when you look at it, you go, oh, that's supposed to be fur, and you know, it will feel fuzzy, or it will feel soft, or it will feel coarse, or whatever, you know, way that you want it to feel. But because we're drawing it, that's called implied texture. If you had a teddy bear sitting right here, and you could feel the actual fur, that's called actual texture, okay? Because you can feel how it really feels. We can't feel anything on this paper, okay? So we're just doing lines to create our texture, okay? That's called implied texture. All right, so do you see how I have like rows and rows and rows of lines, okay? And they're kind of almost the same length. I tried to keep them kind of regular where they're kind of the same. Notice that I did not put lines inside this nose area right here. I did not do that. Notice that the lines kind of go in a circle around the eyes. So I think we're going to start there first because they're very different kind of lines, and then we'll do the rows of lines next. Okay, did you happen to notice that if you put lines very close to each other, they're going to make the fur look really dark? If you put lines kind of spread out a little bit, they're going to make the fur look lighter, okay? That is a way to create value, and value just means how light or how dark is that color. So if you put your lines really close to each other, like this, it's going to look really dark. If you put them further apart, it's going to make your bear look really light. So keep that in mind, okay? And that is your choice. All right, first thing, let's do lines around the eyes. We're going to go in a circular motion with our lines. So you're going to have to rotate your paper as you go. And try to make your lines all the same length. And because it starts out looking like eyelashes at first, but because you are running into the eye that is also black, that's okay. To just let that line touch the eye. Okay, remember to rotate your paper, and you're going to go all the way around. Okay, so if some lines are a tiny bit shorter or longer or whatever, that's okay. Okay, but try to get them sort of the same length all the way around. You're going to do the same thing on your next eye. Remember to rotate your paper as you go. So if you're not done, that's okay. If you will just pause and look up here at the video so that you can see what to do next. And you can go back and you can finish these eyes in just a moment, okay? I want you to put lines inside of these little spots for the ears. Maybe put them really close to each other so it makes the inside of the ear look kind of dark, and that way there'll be a good contrast between the dark inside of the ears and the rest of the fur. So lines as close together as you can. And that will make that area look pretty dark. Okay. Now, let me go ahead and show you what you're going to be doing next, and then you will just keep going after I show you, okay? So I'm going to kind of put this over here just so you can kind of see what we're doing. Okay, so start on the bottom row, okay? Pretend that there are horizontal lines. We're not drawing them, but just kind of pretend. And you're drawing rows and rows and rows of lines. Remember, we're not doing it in that nose area. So try to keep them the same length, and you're just going to work your way across. Okay. And just watch me right now. Don't do anything. As a matter of fact, put the lid on your marker and just watch me real quick and let me explain. And then after I explain, then you will keep going. Okay, so watch me right now. Put the lid on your marker. Okay, so you're going to keep going, and I'm going to do another row, and I've left a slight gap in between my rows. Can you see how there's a little bitty gap right there? Okay. So I'm going to keep going. I'm doing this kind of fast, and you can go a little slower than me, but I just want to show you what to do next. When you get to that nose area, stop, pick up again on the other side, okay? And you are going to keep going and keep going until you fill in your bear with row after row after row of lines. Remember, this is called implied texture because we're drawing it, okay? And you keep going, and you keep going, and you keep going. Now, what do I need to do when I get close to my eyes? Well, you need to stop drawing, okay? So, like when I get over here and I get close, I'm gonna stop. I might do a tiny little line or two just to kind of fill in the gap. And then, got some short lines I could put right here. I'm gonna make them longer again. Short, 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 long, 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 long. Okay, you see how I kind of did that? So I did not hit those circular lines of the eyes. Okay, you should still be watching me. Okay, I'm hoping this makes sense. Okay, so do you see it's just line after line after line, row after row, and you just keep going, okay? Now, once you're done, you keep going, and then you will fill in with lines around the ears also. So you keep adding texture until you fill in all the way to the top, okay? And I'm just gonna keep going here, and I'm just gonna add row after row after row. And these are gonna be a little shorter because this is in the ear, and the ear is a lot smaller. Okay, you see how that looks? Okay, so you keep going, and then the last thing I want you to do is to put some kind of design in your bear's sweater, okay? So we have a lot of lines, so I'm probably not going to put any more lines, but I do love a circle, so maybe I'll put some circles, but you choose what to do inside your bear's sweater when you are done doing the fur, okay? So whatever kind of design you would like to do is totally up to you, but finish your fur first and then work on the sweater. If we run out of time, which we probably are, if you will put your bear picture in your art portfolio. We will work on this again next time. I cannot wait to see your bears. Okay, so you keep going with the fur, and then work on the sweater, and we will continue this next class period. Okay, that is all for today. Have a great day.